we're going to jump into our power rankings. I'm going to go first this week because Corby went first last week. We're going to get right into it, try to go quick here. Some of the teams are going to be very similarly placed. We know who's good, we know who's not. So let's get right into it. Number 10. I have a team that we have yet to see in our power rankings, at least on my end. And this is a team that started the season off very poorly, but has recently had a great uptick in their performance. And it's the Orlando Magic. Now, a lot of people had high expectations for this team coming into the year. Myself, I was one of them. I had them as the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. And they've been pretty disappointing to start the year so far. But, the Orlando Magic, I believe, have the 7th best net rating in the NBA. And what's been really impressive is that their defense is once again a top 10 defense. That's kind of what you come to expect from this Magic team. But they've also had a top 10 offense, and that's something that was a big concern for them in past years and was something people hoped the Desmond Bane trade would fix. And so far, it seems to have done so. They are doing a lot of this without Paulo, and that creates an interesting conversation as to whether or not Paulo is the guy for that team. But Franz looks good, Bane looks good, and I think Paulo is a talented enough guy that when he comes back to this team, if they're gelling, he's just going to add to what has already been a good basketball team. At number 9, I have the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns just had a really good past week where they beat the Lakers, and Booker got hurt. Kind of a weird stretch of games. I think they went 2-2. They lost to the Nuggets, which you kind of expect, and they lost to another team that I believe you would kind of expect them to lose to. But beating the Lakers last night really, they lost to the Thunder by 4, lost to the Nuggets by 18, beat the Kings. So coming into that game last night, they really needed to prove something. Booker goes down in the first quarter, and Dillon Brooks, man, I don't know what's in his system. I don't know if it was just the LeBron hate, residual, but 33 points last night on 15 for 26 from the field, carried them offensively. Colin Gillespie had 28 points. This team is gelling really well right now. Their pieces are playing as you would hope they would. Now, it's just hoping that Devin Booker's injury is nothing major and that Jalen Green can get back on the court soon. This team looks like there's something. They look like a lot more of something than we thought they would. And so that's why I have them at 9 this week. Now, at number 8, I have the Toronto Raptors. They're going to fall 2 spots from where I had them last week. That's just because they had a little bit of a tougher week, lost a couple games, got blown out big time by the Knicks. Raptors are still good. They're ironing out their kinks as a team, and I think they will not have such a result against these top teams moving forward. They're still kind of figuring out what everything looks like. Brandon Ingram finally had kind of an inefficient week. So we'll see if the scoring responsibility shifts around a little bit because he has been their de facto go-to guy as of late. But they're still a very good team, still very talented, and obviously lots of time for them to make moves and add pieces off their bench. At number 7, another team that I have not often had in my top 10, it's the New York Knicks. Knicks had a really good last week. They were on a win streak of 4 games. They beat the Raptors big in their last game by, 24 points. Josh Hart had an incredible week, which is exactly what you're wanting to see out of him, and has not something you've seen out of him. I think I said this earlier, the Knicks kind of go as Josh Hart goes in a lot of ways. And he's been playing well. And obviously we know what Brunson and Cat can do. It's really just if that bench unit with McBride and Clarkson can provide enough offensive support for that starting unit during the playoffs. I think regular season they'll be fine. But yeah, Knicks got their flow back. They're probably going to be moving up the power rankings here pretty soon again. At number 6, I have the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs, with Victor Wembanyama, are 8-4. Without Victor Wembanyama, are 5-2. This is a good basketball team. This is a team that has won in a number of different circumstances. The biggest question mark I have for them is whether or not they're going to be able to balance their guard rotation with Castle coming back soon. Harper just made his return from injury. And the other question is obviously how well Fox fits next to Wemby. But it's kind of hard not to fit next to a 7'6" demigod who can do everything on the court. So I think really it's going to just be interesting to see who gets their minutes cut. I think it'll be Harper probably because you want to play Castle and you want to play Fox. But we will see. Spurs are a good team. They're gelling. They're playing well. And shout out to their role guys for keeping it up while Wemby has been out. At number 5, speaking of a team that's gelling, I got the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have consistently been one of the top teams in their conference this season and have won games against... Are you good?
You're missing a team. I don't know what team it is. Keep going, but you are definitely missing an important team because just keep going.
I'll keep going.
I'll see who you're missing.
I'll keep going. Gosh, Corby's got to question me all the time. Question my genius.
I will. Yes. Keep going.
All right, number 5, I got the Miami Heat. Miami Heat, team that's been gelling all year. Davion Mitchell is your exact point of attack defender that you want. That's why he's remained in the starting lineup with the Miami Heat, even with Tyler Hero coming back, and he had an incredible game last night. And Bam Adebayo. Yeah, I said it right.
You said it right.
I said it right. It just sounded wrong. It just sounded wrong when I said it.
It doesn't sound like a real game.
I gotta just go. Bam Adebayo had a great game. Khalil Ware has had a great stretch of games last night. Not as impressive. Only played 15 minutes, I think, but he's had a great stretch of games. Look like a really good piece next to Bam. And this team, there's no holes on defense. There's not very many holes on offense. They play solid team basketball. They play together. They play Heat basketball. This is Heat culture at its finest. And I think Eric Spoelstra, this is just highlighting how good of a coach he is. This is really the year where you've got to go. If you've had any reservations about Eric Spoelstra and the talent he's had, no. This dude is an incredible coach. This is a Hall of Fame coach, and deservedly so. At number 4, I have the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets moved down a spot from last week, and that is for one reason, and one reason in particular. This past week revealed that if Nikola Jokic is not having an incredible game, this team is very vulnerable to lose to poor teams or not very good teams. They lost to the Mavericks last night, and it's not like the Mavericks are this horrible team. They've been playing well recently, but when you look at the overall body of work for the Mavericks, this is not a team that should beat the Nuggets when Nikola Jokic puts up, 20, he had 29, 13, and 20. If he puts up that stat line, there's no way you should lose by double digits to this Mavericks team. So I think this past week has highlighted maybe some of the holes in their roster. Obviously, they're missing Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, so getting those guys back is going to be important. Let's see if they can keep this top 4-3 seed in the West until that happens and those guys come back. At number 3, I have the Houston Rockets. Now, the Houston Rockets last night had what can only be described as a very poor loss to the Utah Jazz, where they were down most of the night and ended up losing the game. And I should probably hold that against them more than I do, but this is a team that has posted the second best net rating in the league consistently, one of the best net ratings of all time. A lot of their problems have come just simply as a result of figuring out who to go to in clutch situations. That guy should be Kevin Durant, but they're also running a lot of it through Alperen Şengün. And Amin Thompson, very weird game last night. 16 points in the first half was definitely their go-to scorer, and then they just completely went away from him down the stretch. He had 20 points with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter and only finished with 23 points. So just an odd offensive game. You would figure they'd ride the hot hand. But, going to Şengün, going to Durant. Also, Yusuf Nurkic had 18 points last night. That should not happen in the year of 2025. They need Steven Adams to play. He did not play last night, and I think that really highlights his importance as a rim protector and a guy who enforces a presence around the basket. At number 2, I have the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Pistons lost their first games in a long while this past week, but they were both close games. I believe they lost to who was it that they lost to? They lost to
the Magic.
Yeah, they lost to the Magic, who are playing really well right now, and lost to the
Celtics.
Celtics by 3. And the Celtics have also been playing very well as of late. Then they beat the Heat by 3, beat the Hawks by 1. So a lot of close games, win 2, lose 2, all good teams. I think the Pistons have still looked like the second best team in the NBA so far this season. Maybe not in terms of margin of victory or net rating, but they are getting wins. They've won 17 games, second most wins in the NBA, second best winning percentage in the NBA. The Pistons look for real, and I think they still deserve their due credit until they show me that I shouldn't give it to them. And speaking of deserving their due credit, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder at 1. Are you shocked? You shouldn't be. They're 20-1. They're 20-1. And J-Dub just played his first game of the season this past week. This is a team that people should be absolutely terrified of. It seems to be no stopping them short of a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander injury, which does not look due at all. This is a guy that, while he's missed games at times during his career, has not had one of these major injuries that you would point to and say he's injury prone. It's looking scary for the league. Isaiah Hartenstein is having a much better year this year than he had last year even. We talked about during the offseason, we were like, maybe they need to get more guys. Maybe they shouldn't have stood with the roster they have. The guys on their roster just ended up getting better. So, shout out to the Thunder. Shout out to the Thunder GM. It's hard to even be mad at this team in a lot of ways because it's like, yeah, they did exactly everything you could ask a tanking team to do and a rebuilding team to do, and they just did it perfectly. It's not the Warriors who got Kevin Durant. It's not the Heat who got LeBron James and Chris Bosh. This is a super team constructed from within, and there's simply nothing we can do to stop it.
Okay, I like it. First, I'll shout out the teams that were just out of my top 10 because they're good teams. The Cavs are out, the Hawks are out, the Wolves are out, and the Suns were out. All of them are about around 4 games above 500, but they're also really good. At number 10, I have the Toronto Raptors. I understand they did go down 4 spots in 1 week, but I feel like the other teams have really not only proven themselves and had amazing weeks that I had over them, but before the season, I believed in these other teams more than the Raptors. Also, RJ Barrett was out. So in the last 3 games, the Raptors had the best defense, but the worst offense. So clearly, RJ Barrett has some value on that Raptors team. He shouldn't be on any sort of trade block like he was in the last couple years because he wasn't necessarily the best fit then. But yeah, Raptors, just a little bit of a down week. But they're still really good. At number 9, I have the San Antonio Spurs. They went 2-1. They do not move from last week's ranking. Maybe I should have them a little higher, but I just believe in the other teams more. Shout out Devin Vassell, dropped 35 points on like 4 misses against the Denver Nuggets in a pure offensive shootout where no team could stop each other. He was playing amazing. And overall, the Spurs, I mean, Fox has been amazing. He's kind of proven me wrong a little bit. I still don't think the Wemby fit is the best, but individually, when Wemby's hurt, which he will be, he's 7'5", he will have hurt games. He is absolutely carrying that Spurs offense. At number 8, the Orlando Magic. I have not had ranked, I don't think like all season, maybe week 1, but they are 3-0 in this last week. They're like 4th in the East. Anthony Black has been playing amazing. Franz, amazing. Desmond Bane has really caught stride. He had like multiple 37-point games, which is weird because it was exactly that 37-point mark. But yeah, the Magic are really catching their stride. Before the season, I was saying that the Magic are better without Paulo Banchero. And so far, that has proven to be the case because I don't know the record at the top of my head, but it's a -5 below 500 record with Paulo and way above without Paulo. I think it's like 5-2 without Paulo or something like that. Oh yeah, did you just notice what team you're missing? Yeah, you'll see because that was pretty stupid. At number 7, I have the New York Knicks. So we have the Knicks the same. They also weren't ranked last week, but they went 3-0 and this is just a contending team. We need contending teams in the top 10, even if technically another team has the same record. I believe in the Knicks. I believe in Miles McBride this last week, averaging 17 points off the bench. Josh Hart, do I think he's a 20-point per game scorer? No, but that's what he did. And I don't know if I'm showing Cam's face when I edit the power rankings, but he is absolutely disappointed in himself. Jalen Brunson, looking like an MVP kind of guy. He's looking like playoff Jalen Brunson, averaging 30 points per game when he's a 32-point per game guy in the playoffs. So if he can keep this up, the Knicks can no doubt be a 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. And then, am I missing anyone? Mikal Bridges is still playing good. They're without OG Anunoby. Yeah. At number 6, the Miami Heat went 2-1 last week. They go up 2 spots in my power ranking. They are doing Heat things. Cam kind of said it all. Tyler Hero's back. He's playing amazing. Norman Powell's still doing his thing, even with Tyler Hero being back. Chloe Ware is off the bench, not playing as many minutes, but still is 8-8 in like 17 minutes a game. You got Bam Adebayo back. You got Andrew Wiggins really buying into his role. Jaime Jaquez now has a lesser role, but he's still doing good in that. They have Davion Mitchell. They're just an all-around solid team. I don't want to go as far to say as they are contenders, but they are looking like contenders as of this moment. At number 5, I had the Denver Nuggets. They went down 1 spot, went 1-2. In the last week, they were the best. It's kind of the opposite of what the Raptors were because they were the best offense, but they were the worst defense. If the Nuggets want to truly be contenders, they have to get their defense up. They started playing Spencer James more, and he is a good defender, but you can't just have one good defender on your team. I think it is Spencer James, right?
Spencer Jones?
Is it Spencer Jones?
Is
I
it
feel like James
or
is like from a TV show that I watched. So maybe it's Spencer Jones. I think it is Spencer Jones.
I think it's Spencer Jones.
Okay. No, it is Jones.
Gosh, Corby, how could you forget that? How could you forget such a big part of the Denver Nuggets?
I know, crazy. They are missing a couple players like Gordon, like Brown, like Strother. I don't know how much. Maybe Aaron Gordon will help their defense. I don't know how much Brown is a solid defender. Strother won't help their defense though. But overall, yeah, Jokic doing amazing things. Offensively, this team, like everyone individually, has been great. It is just you have to step up defensively. At number 4, a team that Cam didn't have on his list. I'm going to Los Angeles Lakers. They went 3-1 last week, and they were beating up on some bad teams. Yeah, sure, but you have to kind of do that. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are like playing like the best duo in the league right now. Those two, the American white boy and the Slovenian white boy, just absolutely killing it. DeAndre Ayton has also been playing amazing. He averaged like 18 points per game on like 80% shooting last week. If Ayton is locked in, I don't know what JJ Redick is doing to him, feeding him. I don't know what it is, but Ayton's playing amazing. And if that can happen, then you don't even need Roy to be amazing, like because he wasn't last week. You don't need LeBron to be LeBron up until the playoffs. And we might talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, the Lakers have been solid. At number 3, I have them down one spot. It's the Detroit Pistons. They've still been really good. Yeah, they played 4 close games, won 2, lost 2. Just because I have them down in the power rankings doesn't mean I feel some sort of way about them. Like, no, I still think they can be contenders. And if they go 500 the rest of the season, they're probably still, if I'm doing my math right, they might still be like a 50-win team. So, yeah, they're the number 3 team. I didn't even shout out Jaden Ivey, and then Jenkins didn't even play that good off the bench. It was really just a Cade Cunningham carry. Like, Cade Cunningham played amazing outside of averaging 6.5 turnovers per game, but he kind of had to do it to keep them in the game. So you can't blame him. Everyone's kind of coming back, finding their stride. Like, Asar Thompson's back. We'll see how Ron Holland starts to play. But at number 2, the Houston Rockets. This is a team that I thought without Fred VanVleet wouldn't be able to really compete, especially in the regular season. And they have been doing that. Amen Thompson kind of had a down week, but everyone else, like Kevin Durant, played amazing. Sengun averaged 25 points per game. I think that Steven Adams in only like 1 or 2 of the games. And all around, like, there's just players that are helping out. They did lose to the Utah Jazz, but guess what? If you're a team like the Houston Rockets, losing to the Utah Jazz is not that bad of a loss. I'd rather lose to them than lose to a good team, because the good teams are going to be the ones you're playing in the playoffs. But yeah, all around, they played solid. And then the OKC Thunder. I'm not even going to say too much. Cam kind of said it all. 3-0. Shea averaged like 34 points per game last week. J-Dub's back, and his scoring isn't as good right now, but he's doing the playmaking things. He's playing elite defense. Chet's been amazing. Hartenstein, unfortunately, just got hurt for the next, most likely, like 2 weeks. So I hope for a speedy recovery, because I really do want to see this team break the NBA win record. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, so you didn't have the Lakers.
Yeah, so the Lakers are 4th. The Lakers are 4th.
So you're moving
moving everyone else down. So my list now goes Thunder, Pistons, Rockets, Lakers, Nuggets, Heat, Spurs, Knicks, Raptors, Suns.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really dumb. Like,
do you have anything to say about the Lakers?
About the Lakers? I think the biggest thing I have to say about the Lakers is that Austin Reeves has been playing absolutely incredible to start the year, and they've needed it. And I think that is one thing where you would hope that as LeBron comes back, that would balance out some of that offensive production, because Austin Reeves, while he has been incredible as a guy, I see much more as like a 23, 24 point per game guy than this 28, 29 point per game guy he has been. Now, could he maintain that? Sure. Should he, for the best interest of the Lakers? Probably not. It's probably better if LeBron's averaging like 22 and Reeves is averaging like 23.
But wouldn't it be maybe in the playoffs, but for the regular season, you kind of want LeBron to do as little as possible.
Sure, but and maybe this is already kind of telling. I am looking to the playoffs for like, a lot of these teams already, because I feel like barring a big injury, we know that the Thunder, Pistons, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets are going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think those are the guaranteed. Everyone else, there's some like I guess you could. I'd say like the Knicks. I would bet a lot of money on the Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks too. So even though the Knicks aren't as high in my power rankings, I would also say that they are pretty much a guaranteed playoff team. So yeah,
and I'd probably end it there. I mean, the only other team you could kind of say is maybe the Cavs, but the Cavs aren't even top 10. Like, and they've been kind of struggling, so I can't even guarantee that.
That's true. Yeah.
So. Cool. Then, yeah, that's our power rankings. We didn't really have anything too far apart outside of maybe like our Spurs ranking. So I just couldn't put the Spurs I guess you had them 7, I had them 9. It's not that big of a difference. I didn't have the Suns in my top 10. They were just right out of it. I mean, to be honest, no, they weren't. I'd probably put them around 14, the Suns, because I probably have teams like the Cavs and the Hawks and the Timberwolves over them.
That's interesting. I just think given their body of work and what they've done, they're not getting as much credit, I feel like, as the Miami Heat, because of what we already perceived the Miami Heat to be and what people thought Phoenix was going to be before this year. But they're a very similar team in terms of the fact that they just have a bunch of solid, like at the very least, solid defenders surrounded by these couple of guys that can, have the high level offensive production.
But individually, outside of Booker, the Heat just are better. Like, they have better players.
Yes, which, I mean, they're 6th in my ranking. For a reason. Like, I think the Heat are a very good team. But the Suns, Mark Williams is a very solid center. The problem has never been his talent. It's always been if he can stay healthy, and he has been healthy this year. Dylan Brooks is showing what he could do when he is given a full leash to be a number 2 offensive option. They still have Jalen Green coming back from injury, and even though he hasn't played very many games, I think he might have only just played the one. He played incredibly in that one game, and we know that he can be an offensive engine. And Colin Gillespie and Grayson Allen have both had really great offensive seasons by their standards, and they haven't even played Malawach, which is a weapon that you have just sitting on your bench. A center rotation of Mark Williams and Malawach sounds really incredible. Now, rookie centers do often struggle, but Malawach has the physical tools to just be very impactful around the rim and very impactful as a shot blocker and a rebounder. Because are they still running Iguodaro as their bench big? He's been solid. I have no problem with him, but Malawach has, the talent to take that bench unit to the next level. So,
well, what sucks for Malawach right now is he is the fourth center in the depth chart because they do have Mark Williams over him, Iguodaro, Nick Richards, and then Malawach. Like Nick Richards has actually been getting minutes because of Mark Williams being hurt some games.
yeah.
So yeah,